Kerrs Lake 103 Showen Road in Exton. I have some questions and comments about the sinkhole on Lisa Drive. I had some emails with Pam today about that. So for those of you who don't know, last night there was an article in State Impact PA about a sinkhole opening up on July 6th, last Thursday, on the Mariner East easement at Lisa Drive. I had actually heard about it on Facebook from someone who made a comment about cement trucks coming into that neighborhood on Friday. And I just heard this yesterday. I went out there to see what was going on, and on my way home, I got a call from that reporter. She had heard about it from another source. Anyway, turns out today I was at the county commissioners meeting. They knew nothing about this. And I'm learning now that the township didn't know about it when it happened on Thursday. And from my communications with Pam, I've learned that the township was not informed until Friday, when it was already being filled and the PUC and the DEP were on site. I do have a question about that. So they contacted you, Pam? Correct. And who at ET told you the size of the hole on Friday?
The public affairs office.
Like any particular individual?
Sure, Joe Massara.
Okay, so on Friday, Joe Massaro told you it was how big?
He thought it was 4 by 6 by 18 inches, all inches.
Okay, but the email you sent me this afternoon, he's changed that story.
He probably got further clarification.
Yeah, right.
The hole was filled, or what we were thinking too. So initially, I think that's the hole that was reported to them, and with all the rains and the storms and so forth, that's created a lot of damage and increased sinkholes, all throughout the entire Pennsylvania. So that could have been what happened. We don't have all those details.
Sure, but it opened up on Thursday when, in Libby's neighborhood, she measured 16 inches that day in a matter, 6 inches in just a couple hours. So yes, that's going to happen in this area. It's one of the reasons why this pipeline project never should have come through here. And I know that's not the township's role, and where to cite that. But my concern is that Energy Transfer did not contact the township when it happened. They contacted the DEP and the PUC, but they did not contact the township. And when they did contact the township, you were given false information. And I also noticed on the email that he sent you today, he goes further to say that the sinkhole is 5 feet adjacent and 50 feet above the 16-inch pipeline.
Are we boring you, Teresa?
Which was installed by horizontal directional drill.
Oh, yeah, scratch your head. That's good.
Okay, so he gives you all that information. Then he goes on to say it's 8 feet away from the 20-inch pipeline that's carrying propane and butane. He doesn't tell you how it was installed, nor how deep the sinkhole was in relation to that one. That's because that one was installed by open trench, and it's only between 4 and 8 feet underground. And if this sinkhole was 54 inches deep, which we know that they tend to underestimate things, that could have been very close to that pipeline. It could have been underneath the pipeline. We could have seen it open underneath. And also he writes that it's closer to the 16-inch than it is to the 20-inch. That's different than what we saw when we go out there. It looks right in line with the 20-inch markers. So unless they have those markers incorrectly placed, which is another problem because they're carrying different products, it's right on the 20-inch markers, which is only 4 to 8 feet underground. So we have a problem here. And it's frustrating for us to hear the township not be informed in real time by Energy Transfer and to take them on their word. They have a long history of lying to the township. And it's a concern for us as residents. These are very dangerous products. it's concerning that nobody from the township was out there on the Thursday when it happened to take a look. A few years ago, when one opened, it was in 2019. I know a former township supervisor, Michelle Mole, went out there and she saw the pipeline exposed. And she asked one of the energy transfer people, is that the pipeline? And they said, no, it's a sewer line or a water line or something. And they were lying. It was one of the 8-inch or the 12-inch that were in operation with these HVLs. And that's why, actually, to set the record straight, that's why I pushed to have her testify at the Safety 7 hearing, because she could give that firsthand account of being lied to as a township supervisor.
Yep.
So
It's concerning for us too, and I wish I had known, so to be aware. And we didn't. And as far as what we're concerned, I mean, unfortunately, we did nothing wrong, on our part.
Yep.
But we are going to try to resolve that in the future and make sure that we're notified for the future.
are you, I'm not sure, Raj, are you listening to
Yes,
all
I'm
this?
listening. Yeah, I mean, we have been having this email conversation since morning. I'll be frank, there's nothing in the rule book that Energy Transfer has to notify the township. They don't
Why
have
is
to
Raj
notify
a
us. They do it
supervisor?
because of the relationship we have built up with them. They
Oh
are
my
not,
God, what a
by
crock
rule,
of
they're
hooey.
supposed to notify DPUC and DEP. That's what they do.
Right.
I don't understand what more you want this board to do here right now.
To notify the residents, Raj.
We certainly want to have them notify us. We want to be on the for
Thank you,
emergency
Brian.
reasons and so forth, and I get that, and that's something that we're going to address, and we're going to be on that. I mean, that's for sure.
Because
So,
the residents are going to contact the township.
Mhm.
And then if something were to happen, like we got lots more rain on Friday, the township should be aware that that's a concern. The PSC
If you don't like
investigating
hearing this,
that.
Raj,
So
resign.
even if there's not a requirement, you can't claim to have a relationship with them when they're not communicating this vital information, and
Teresa's
when they do
working in her
communicate
coloring
with you,
book.
they're not being honest.
we agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you, Jenny.
Thanks.
All right. Is there any other public comment?